So you're thinking about moving to Weatherford, Texas. Well, in this video, we're going to take a look at 3 different neighborhoods and 3 different price points to give you the idea of how far your money will go in Weatherford, Texas. And if you stick around to the very end, we're going to show you the most expensive property that sold in the last year.
And if this is your first time to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. And if you want to be the first to know what's happening in the Texas real estate market, go ahead and hit that bell.
Welcome to the show. My name is Tom Jung.
And I'm Jack Lisenby.
And we are your local Dallas-Fort Worth real estate agents. If you are looking to buy or sell, we would love to hear from you. We get calls every day from folks just like you, whether you're looking to buy or sell in the next few days or a few months. Did I say that twice? No. Okay, we're rolling with it.
We'll double down. We'll help you twice as much.
We should stop doing this last part of the day. Cool. So Weatherford, Texas. It is on the west side of Fort Worth. Mm-hmm. And how would you describe the feel?
It's really interesting because Weatherford, you can get a lot more money or a lot more house for your money out there. Mm-hmm. But it's also still got a very, very small town feel to it, because for how physically large Weatherford feels, it's actually a very small town. It's like, what, not 30,000 people?
Yeah, I could be right. I have no idea.
Yeah, it's very small town. It's still 30,000 people, but compared to Fort Worth's, what, like 150,000 or some crazy number?
Yeah, a lot more.
Yeah, a lot more. It feels like a small town, relatively.
Yeah. So we've got another video. If you're looking, if you're just thinking about Weatherford, more the pro and con type video, you can check that out. But today we're talking about neighborhoods. So how far does your dollar bill go when you're looking in Weatherford, Texas? So I guess first off, let's talk about under 300,000. So in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, like a little over 300 is kind of your average right now. So your entry-level homes are typically around that 300 mark, depending on what suburb you're in. And in this case, it's a little bit lower. So there's actually quite a bit that you can find under 300,000. And if you are looking for something on land, so if you want an acre or more than likely you're going to be looking at a mobile home, and these are going to be anywhere from like 1,000 to 1,500 square feet, and anywhere from like an acre to 2 acres. Now, if you are more of the traditional home type, you don't need the acreage, you're going to find that as well in Weatherford, and it's just going to be, it's going to be a hodgepodge, because you can find stick frames that were built 100 years ago, and then you can also find something that's a little bit newer, something that was built in the 80s. So there's a little bit of everything, but you can find like your traditional 3-bedroom, 2-bath in town for around that 250 mark. So there are some options in that price point, and that's all I got on under 3.
Okay, cool.
Honorable mention.
Yeah, I would say the Weatherford's got an interesting juxtaposition of like these old historic houses next to these brand new ones, next to mobile homes, next to ranch style houses. Like it's got a little bit of something for everybody. And actually, if you're looking for something a little bit more traditional and less on wheels, there's quite a bit in the 300 to 500 range. So if you've got about $500,000 to sling around in Weatherford, you can go pretty far. And if a good example of that is actually the Silverstone area. You've got houses that range from like 16 to 3,200 square feet. So you got a nice range of houses. 3 to 4 bedroom. Most houses, even as they get larger, don't get too many more than 4 bedrooms. So that can fit most people. 2 to 4 bathrooms, and some of these. And these guys, they're still building out there in that area, because they started back in like 2005, and they're still building. As of 2022, they had some houses go up recently. But these houses are really nice. They've got like the natural stone water line, brick siding. They've got builder grade tile and carpet. So it's not like it's not like the works, but you still get a half acre of land, and it's an HOA, so your investment's going to be protected. But if you got anywhere between 300,000 to 500,000, this is actually a really good example of what the vast majority of stuff in Weatherford that's been built in the past 20 years looks like.
Yeah, and that's going to be like your more of your cookie cutter subdivision.
Yeah.
So also, and with that, you get the amenities like the swimming pool and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna find, so it's interesting, like different suburbs have different ratios of like swimming pools per house.
Yeah,
Weatherford's extremely low on like actually finding a house with a swimming pool in it for some reason. Yeah, and also in that like $300,000 to $500,000 range, you can also find properties that are on an acre, and you can, even the new ones, you can find newer ones that are like around 2,000 square feet on an acre in like the mid fours, and this is what's so interesting about Weatherford, right? Because you can find that, but you're going to be driving an extra 20 to 30 minutes from town, right? So this one's a little bit more difficult, I guess, to do our neighborhood video because there's so much that it offers. But yeah, so, and then if you are looking in that like $500,000 to $700,000 range, you've got, again, there's a lot of different options, but a good example of a neighborhood where you're actually on an acre and you get a good sized home, it's going to be Ellis Creek Ranch. These homes are going to range from about 2,400 to 3,100 square feet. And a lot of these were built in the early 2010s. And this is going to be what was probably like, I would say custom or semi-custom homes back at that time. So these are really nice homes that, are going to have the trade ceilings, the nice floors, the extra accents and things like that. And again, this is an HOA. It's got a community pond and, just some little stuff, nothing crazy like you see in some of these like master plan developments. But yeah, so you can definitely find that. And again, Weatherford's got a little bit of everything. Or you could go, and get a little bit more acreage if you wanted to and find stuff in that price range. So
yeah, and actually I think that's really the interesting part about Weatherford is that while it is so all over the place, since the buying power is so much more out there as opposed to like central Fort Worth, we kind of reach like a point of diminishing returns where your house doesn't necessarily get bigger or fancier. It just kind of gets a little bit more polished and you just get more acreage with it. And that's kind of what we see here with the next price point. So if you're between like $700,000 to $900,000, there's a place, actually a great example, Arapahoe Ridge. Again, it's from about the houses range, they do have some larger ones, so the houses range from about 2,700 up to just shy of 5,000 square feet for a select few. But again, 4 beds, 3 to 4 baths, and it's sitting on an acre up to 3 acres of land. So these are very similar to the Ellis Creek properties, but you get a lot more grass in your yard. But these are really nice as well. It's not all just bells and whistles, because they do actually have like the 2+ car garages, so you get like 2 or 3 car garages. Some of them are detached. They've got like the little breezeway and everything. Lots of trees on the lot, brick siding, circle drives, because you got the room for it on a 3-acre lot. And these are all kind of tucked away, but if you actually look at the location of these properties, another reason they got more expensive for basically a comparable square footage is the fact that they're much closer to Weatherford than the Ellis Creek Ranch. So
Yes.
that's where most of your premium is going to be, is getting land closer and closer to Weatherford proper.
Right. And that's also closer to Fort Worth as well, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
It's right along the highway, I believe.
Yep. So again, it's a location.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah, and if you're looking to spend more than likely you are looking at buying land. Weatherford is the horse cutting capital of the world.
I have no idea.
Okay, yeah.
Not a history buff.
Okay, no, so it's either horse. There's 2. So the other big horse town is Stephenville. Drew a blank there for a second. Stephenville, and then but it's like horse capital of the world, and then like horse cutting capital, I think. So anyways, big horse town, and so there is a ton of properties out there with land as well. So if you're looking for property close to the Metroplex with land, Weatherford's a great spot. It just depends on how much land do you want. And as far as land goes, it goes for about, if you're looking at like 10 acres or more, so like if you're going to be running horses or whatever, you're going to more than likely be spending around $25,000 an acre when it gets to that size. And of course, that's going to depend a lot on, the features of the land and how much land is it, and it's going to vary a little bit. But that would probably be a good, if you just want to get an idea how much the land's going to cost, that should give you an idea. But Anyways, other than that, anything else to add on different price points and neighborhoods?
No, just
okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully that wasn't confusing. There's a ton in Weatherford. Cool. So, last but not least, the most expensive property that sold in the past year. This was really cool. This reminded me of Yellowstone, but in Texas.
Oh, the TV show?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So this was the Waco Bend Ranch, and it sold for a little over $16 million. It's on a little over 1,000 acres, and they have just a ton of stuff. I mean, it's they've got this really cool log house, and I think so on the listing it's got that it's a 6-bedroom, 5-bath, but I think that includes the guest house that's built right next to it.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got the log cabin and this log guest house, really nice, and they've got this outdoor area. It sits and overlooks the Brazos River. Just, I'm sure it's just amazing sunsets out there. But on top of that, they've got a second guest house, which is probably, I don't know if it's for the hands or what, but we got a second guest house, and they've also got this giant metal barn. They've got stables. I mean, just a ton of pens and everything else that you need to run horses and breed them and everything. So beautiful property, sold for $16 million. So like we mentioned, a lot of horse stuff going on out there, and this property is no exception. So
and that's really cool. I don't even know what I would do with all that much land. I don't know, open an artillery range or something.
Yeah. And it mentioned it. It's like they only use like 10% of it for the horses.
Yeah. So my ex, I guess, what would he be like? My uncle-in-law or whatever.
Okay.
Back when I was married, he just had like 200 some odd acres of land, and he had probably 40 of it or so fenced off that was for like grazing and just running around with ATVs and stuff. But otherwise, he just didn't use the rest of it. He owned it, didn't even fence it in, and I'm like, why?
You never know when you might need it.
Yeah, I guess. I was just like, I don't know.
Good stuff. All right. Well, I think that's all we've got on Weatherford for today. And as always, we've got resources in the description. And if you are from Weatherford and we missed something, please let us know. It's always good to have input from folks that live there day in and day out. So until next time, remember, if you're looking to buy or sell, keep calm, call Tom.